Hello and welcome back to yet another podcast of Humans of Galgotias. This is your host Tanushka Singh, and today we are celebrating Alumni's Award with a special guest. Today we have Mr. Vishwas Trehan. Joining with the show. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi Tanushka, how are you doing?
I'm great, sir. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you for inviting me.
Sir, how does it feel to come back to your own campus for almost like after 2 decades?
It feels wonderful. I am elated to see the changes that has happened. Infrastructure has improved. Academics has changed a lot. While we were there in Galgotias 2002 to 2006, things were very different. But I'm amazed to see the kind of a platform that you're giving to all your students. And I think this will go a long way in terms of defining the future of this country.
So, what changes have you seen in university now and back in 2006? What are the changes?
Well, there are many changes, This is so back at our own time, we were doing studies which was relevant to the industry and the field, but not very focused in terms of how the industry and the markets were performing at that point in time. What I feel right now is students are given much more exposure in terms of industry, how things are happening outside, what are the technology trends happening, where they can go and gel very quickly into the professional ecosystem when they come out of college. So I think that base of giving more leverages to student, giving them a better platform in terms of what is happening outside is given better right now.
Sir, how does it feel that official alumni portal has been launched? So how does it feel to you?
I think infrastructure, what Galgotia is doing is very good. But I think this was a great initiative. You've spent more than 2 decades in the ecosystem, and their alumni, which I also know, they're doing very well in the market. They're industry leaders, and they're doing very well. So I think getting all of them on one single portal and utilizing them for the future generations, such as students such as used to come in, is a great idea. I think from here on, if this relationship and connectivity is built, this will lead to a lot more good for Galgotias to come in.
So what was your first impression when you heard about this portal?
I think this is a very formal and right channel to put everybody on one single platform. So what you're doing right now is you're getting everyone on the board, getting them aligned, and you can have aligned goals going forward. Alumni such as me, they'll be happy to contribute because the institution has given us so much, and the intent is that we give it back to you in some sense, and this should help you, the younger generation, those who are coming. It should help them grow, prosper, and maybe understand the market more. So I think this is a great forum. I really admire that.
Sir, any campus memories there that you still love, like in your batch, you have done something?
Many. I think I can recall multiple memories there.
You can share any one with us, sir.
One is that working on VLSI labs. So we had microelectronics labs where we used to go and design our own PCB. So my first PCB was designed during my project. I designed my own PCB, and it was done. I've done it myself. Went ahead and went to Lajpat Rai market in Delhi to buy my own resistance, semiconductors, and I did my complete PSB by myself. So soldering se leke everything was done by us. So I think that experience of doing it by yourself was given very well, at that point in time as well.
So when it comes to business, there's a lot of youth in business. I can say there's a lot of crowd in business. So how did you thought ki you are the different one, and how did you manage to do it in business?
So I have an exposure. So I have both professional and a startup experience with me. So I was also a part of a startup. What I realize is that it totally depends on how you want to pursue yourself going forward. Nowadays, both the options are quite openly available. Startups, people are getting into startups, defining their own logic, creating proportions out of ideas, they're building ideas. So I think choosing it wisely for an individual in terms of how he looks his future as and where he wants to go over a period of time. You can only learn this over a period of time. You can't define it right now, but it's a journey. So maybe starting from a professional career and then eventually understanding to move into startups so that you see the best of both the worlds. I think it should be given an equal chance and depends on individual to individual.
So from being a college student to being a director sale, at such a big company. It is a very big thing. So what were the challenges that you faced during that time, and how did you overcome that?
So challenges are many. It is not that you become a director easily. So there's a journey that everybody has to follow, and I think when you do that journey, you become part of that journey. You learn so many things coming in. So you learn to be competitive. You learn to never give up. You learn to try your hands. Be more hands-on. Try things on. Become a team player. Push people for ideas. There are a lot many things that I can go and say. So what you're doing right now is enjoying the journey. I don't know where do I lead to, over a period of time, but I am enjoying what I'm doing right now, and it's a learning experience. You learn every day, you relearn every day, and you try and get your hands dirty to become more competent at what you do.
So during your college days, what kind of student you were? Like एक रात पहले पढ़ के एग्जाम कर लेना, या फिर अच्छे से एक महीने पहले से प्रिपरेशन करना, क्लास में ही नोट्स वगैरह बनाना? What kind of student you were?
So I was not a very studious person. So my core focus was always to understand the basics very well. So I always used to focus on doing my basic, education, understanding the core logic, in a diligent manner. I used to do that, and my other focus was, to try out things. I was never afraid to try out. I was very happy to do all the practical that we used to do in Galgotias. So I was more of a practical guy than a theoretical guy. And, my focus was always you should understand the base in the core very well. So if you're able to go, understand and articulate that well, you can build use cases on top of it.
सर अभी जो गलगोटियास में लैब्स वगैरह है, बीट सेमीकंडक्टर के या मैकेनिकल्स के, और तब जब लैब थे, वो लैब्स में क्या डिफरेंस थे?
Hell lot of difference. I feel in 20 years, it's not 20 years, it's kind of 3 generations. So what you've done right now is you've created these segments very well. Cisco Labs, Apple Labs, Tech Mahindra and all of that. You've created these labs very well, and you're giving a platform for students to go and experiment in those labs. In our time, it was not like that. It was more, studious, understanding the core. Maybe I'll give you an example. हम ICE का इंजन पढ़ते थे, इंटरनल कंबस्शन इंजन के बारे में उसके nuances पढ़ते थे. But what we never used to do was to experiment on top of it, that how do we go and make it more practical. What you're doing right now is very practical and very, very relevant. And what Galgotia has done is they've created these pockets where students can go try their hands on and become more competent and become more industry specific. I think that's the need of the hour.
Sir, tell us about your journey. You have done BTech in EC in 2006, and then you have done MBA. So tell us about that.
So Tanishka, my thought process was to become more technical. So after doing my engineering, I got campus placed, but I joined Airtel, and I was working for Airtel, in the switch department, and we were looking at, electrical to optical conversion. Mm-hmm. So my thought process, I did fairly decently well in that, aspect as well. But I understood that, looking at my, personality and my, future where I wanted to be more customer focused rather than being at the back end. So I pursued my MBA and became much more, customer front end. My intent was that I should be able to since I understand technology well, I wanted to go and sell the same technology over a period of time. So if you look at my journey, I've always been selling technologies over a period of time. I've been selling it to, banking and financial industry verticals, but I've been at the core selling technologies. What I do right now with Actico is I am selling core technology piece for different use cases.
So you were a hostel student or day scholar?
So I was a day scholar, but I used to stay in hostel while doing exams.
So how does it feel different at being a day scholar student and then being in hostel? What was the difference you have felt?
So I think good lot of difference. I think studies could have always done better. You could have gone and done better studies in hostel. You do group studies. If you have a problem, you go and reach out to any person's room and go and say, "ये हमारे को भी सिखाओ, ये हमारे को भी बताओ, ये तुमने कैसे किया?" So I think the group study work which used to happen in hostel was amazing. And there was a time, exam से आने से एक महीने पहले, everybody used to start studying. सारे पढ़ते थे, एक महीना पहले स्टार्ट हो जाता। स्टूडेंट्स वन यूज्ड टू गो एंड स्टार्ट अर्ली, एंड जो लेगर्ड्स होते थे वो हमेशा एक हफ्ते पहले शुरू होते थे, अब बताओ जी कोर्स में क्या करना है। बट what the best part was that you had so many people in college where you can go in the hostel and tell them कि यार ये मुझे आता नहीं है, मुझे सिखाओ, and they'll be happy to help you on that.
So where did you find the competition more, like in hostel or studying alone at home? What did you love?
Studying alone was always a challenge because you never knew what others were doing. In hostel, when you're doing a group study, then you would know at what level you are. So you might have a consistent level of understanding when you are studying in the hostel, because everybody used to do similar things, and you would get to know कि वो क्या कर रहा है, वो क्या कर रहा है, और हमें कितना करना है. While you're studying alone, you're onto yourself, your own thought process that how you want to go and complete your studies.
So between this मस्ती hangout and classroom का जो हसल होता है, इन दोनों में मतलब क्या ऐसे एक लाइफ लेसन आपको मिल चुका है?
ये हॉस्टल हमारे को, स्पेशली कॉलेज, हमारे को अंडरस्टैंड कराता है पीपल. So when you are fresh out of school, you meet a bigger batch जहाँ पे you are independent and you are free to choose your company. So what you're doing right now, you are becoming a people's person. What you learn in the hostel is to accommodate with different set of people, understand their way, and get them in your life. And I think life is also like that. It's a journey where you try and understand what other people. You become a people person. You become a team player, and then you go and execute and deliver. So I think the journey starts from college life, जहाँ पे तुम एक दूसरे को understand करते हो, एक ग्रुप बनाते हो, लोगों के साथ को एग्जिस्ट करना सीखते हो, एंड देन एग्जीक्यूट करते हो. लाइफ इज आल्सो सिमिलर, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ.
So you are from a technology background while you were studying AI वगैरह and all. So do you think that AI can replace human?
No, I said that in while I was down there as well. AI will not replace. So it will not replace individuals. There's a learning curve. While that scare is outside that AI is going to replace humans, no, there's a learning curve that AI will take, and people, those who are adapt, they learn the technology, the AI, use cases. They will quickly adapt and renovate. AI would always need people to coexist, and they can't work in silos. So eventually, yes, to make it more efficient, to optimize, there will be jobs which will be affected, but eventually it will complement. It is always going to complement, not supplement. It will never substitute.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining with us today. You have given us a great lesson, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting me. Bye bye.